Well, it appears MSDNC is nuking Joy Reid's woke, pathetic show. Well, nobody watches it. Of course they did. MSNBC cancels wacko Joy Reid's show, The ReidOut. Final episode will air this week. It appears MSNBC's resident wacko Joy Reid has had her show canceled. R.I.P. According to multiple media reports, Reid's show, The ReidOut, will air its final episode this week. Joy Reid's show will be replaced with a program led by a 3 anchors, Simone Sanders Townsend, a political commentator and former Democrat strategist, Michael Steele, a former chairman of the Republican National Committee, and TV journalist Alicia Menendez. The New York Times reported, Joy Reid's evening news show on MSNBC is being canceled, part of a far-reaching programming overhaul orchestrated by Rebecca Cutler, the network's new president. 2 people familiar with the changes said. The final episode of Miss Reid's 7 p.m. show, The ReidOut, is planned for sometime this week, according to the people who were not authorized to speak publicly. The show, which features in-depth interviews with politicians and other newsmakers, has been a fixture of MSNBC's lineup for the past 5 years. The cancellation of her show is a final humiliation for Joy Reid. Back in December, it was reported that Joy Reid had been asked to take a pay cut from her $3 million yearly salary as the network's ratings continued to crash in the wake of Donald Trump's stunning election victory.
Also Latino men who, despite the utter disrespect shown by Trump and his promise to deport some of your mixed status families, most of them voted in a 55% majority to make the deportations happen. Y'all voted with Stephen Miller and David Duke and against your own sisters and chose Kamala Harris with 60% of their votes. So you own everything that happens to your mixed status families and to your wives, sisters, and abuelas from here on in.
It has been revealed that the MSNBC president has held a rushed meeting with Joy Reid's staff after show's cancellation leaked to the media. The new president of MSNBC, Rebecca Cutler, held an unplanned virtual meeting with Joy Reid's staff after the show's cancellation was leaked to the media. An audio recording of the meeting about the leak was subsequently leaked to the media. The recording was obtained by former CNN reporter Oliver Darcy, who wrote, staffers expressed frustration and disbelief, outrage that they had learned of their show's fate from reports in the press rather than leadership. Others demanded answers about the reasoning behind the cancellation of The ReidOut and what it meant for their futures at the network. Oh, boo-hoo. According to the report, Cutler confirmed that the entire staff had been laid off, but would receive severance pay through April. She also encouraged them to apply to other jobs within the company. Darcy reports, despite MSNBC's assurances that roles will be available, staffers exited the meeting shaken. The shock of learning about their show's fate, married with uncertainty about what comes next, spurred significant frustration with MSNBC brass, which came through during the Sunday meeting. While Cutler pointed to the more than 100 new jobs being posted this week as a sign of hope for the staffers, for those who have worked on The ReidOut, the meeting drove home a difficult reality. Their show is over, and their future at the Progressive Network is not certain. Though Cutler was apologetic about how they learned about their jobs, staff remained outraged and said it was a terrible, terrible way to learn about our fate. Darcy said Cutler also insisted that Donald Trump was not a factor in the show's termination. Okay. Cutler was asked if Trump's position on the network factored into the cancellation, and she replied, no, it did not. It turns out that the American people hate being lectured every single night on your useless, pathetic, annoying, DEI-established show. That they're racist, that they're bigots, that they're homophobic, that they're transphobic, that they're xenophobic, that they're just horrible, evil people because they don't bow down to you and your DEI supremacy. Well, now your show is canceled, it appears. So goodbye, Joy Reid. MSNBC has a whole host of problems. MSNBC settles lawsuit with doctor they smeared as uterus collector at ICE detention facility. Oh God, we pray her show is next on the chopping block. Things just keep getting worse for the left-wing mainstream media. NBC Universal has settled a lawsuit on behalf of MSNBC with a doctor the network falsely accused of committing numerous hysterectomies on female detainees at an ICE facility in rural Georgia. The stories aired on MSNBC shows back in September 2020, hosted by the likes of Nicole Wallace, Chris Hayes, and Rachel Maddow. as well as various NBC News reports. The doctor was dubbed as the uterus collector, despite no evidence he ever engaged in such activities. The doctor responded to the reports by filing a lawsuit against NBC Universal, demanding $20 million in punitive damages and a further $10 million in compensation damages. His lawsuit accused the network of portraying him as an abusive, unethical, and dishonest physician who treated and operated on immigrant women in an abusive fashion without consent and motivated by profit instead of quality health care. Last June, a U.S. district judge ruled that the undisputed evidence establishes that multiple NBC statements are false. Translation: they are fake news. See, not only are the American people fed up with the fake news and their lies and their propaganda, the American people are fed up with them getting away with it. With clear defamation on the table, they go after Alex Jones for nothing, for questioning stories. But when it comes to real, actual defamation and lies spewing from the fake news, dying dinosaur media, they just get away with it. So they've been emboldened. That's what propagandists are. Well, now there's justice and accountability. Speaking of fake news talking heads, CNN hack Michael Smerconish melts down after getting schooled by Doge dividend creator James Fishback, threatens to cut his mic, and calls time after losing debate. CNN's resident fake news peddler Michael Smerconish couldn't handle the cold, hard truth about government waste and taxpayer ripoffs. During an interview with Doge dividend original creator James Fishback, a Trump-aligned entrepreneur and CEO of Azoria, Smerconish fumed and ultimately threatened to cut the mic when his leftist talking points crumbled under the weight of facts.
We should be paying the debt. Your response?
My response is this. We should be paying the debt, which is why the Doge dividend incentivizes every American to call out waste, fraud, and abuse, to lower the budget, to narrow the deficit, and to bring down the debt. Where was this emergency over the debt when we sent $350 billion to Ukraine to be wasted? Where was this emergency, Michael, on CNN when you guys were advocating $7,000 to migrants in Chicago? $7,000 a month per migrant, and now we want to spend $5,000 one time from President Trump to hardworking Americans. The migrants didn't deserve $7,000 a month. Hardworking Americans deserve a $5,000 check with President Trump's name on it. So enough with the double standard. Ukraine did not deserve $350 billion.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. This is Madoff-like. This is a Ponzi scheme.
No, Ukraine was a Ponzi scheme. The migrant funding was a Ponzi scheme. Hardworking Americans deserve a break.
James,
it was their money, Michael. It was their money.
James, give me a chance to speak. Theoretically, it's my program. We don't have the money, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a Ponzi.
So we didn't have the money for Ukraine, right? We didn't have the money for Ukraine. $350 billion.
I never do this. I don't want to be that guy. Do I have to silence your microphone so that I can respond to what you've said? Because there's so much fallacy in what you've just offered.
Notice how aggressive and combative these people are. Whenever there are facts afoot, they got to go to cutting the mic, because you can't let facts go out on the air, because that's going to wake people up. That's classic fake news. But they're so aggressive and so combative when it comes to the truth. And when it comes to the American people getting justice, Doge is uncovering all kinds of criminality. People need to go to jail. But also, I find it interesting that whenever there's a conversation about the American people getting justice, getting what they deserve, because they've been taken advantage of by these crooked politicians for decades, there's always a push to defend the establishment and throw the American people overboard. Speaking of the establishment, the Democrat Party is falling off. Former Clinton pollster shares the latest bad news for the Democrats. Former Democrat strategist Mark Penn joined Laura Ingraham on Fox News to discuss how Democrats are holding up during the first month of the Trump administration's blitzkrieg to save America from the communist left. In a previous life, Mark Penn was a pollster for President Bill Clinton. Penn was later a chief strategist and pollster in the Hillary Clinton 2008 presidential campaign. On Friday night, Penn had more bad news for Democrats. The Democrat Party's approval ratings are falling off a cliff. That's a direct quote.
Well, I've got some new polling coming out Monday that I've just looked at, and frankly, the Democratic Party is falling off a cliff. The ratings, which were in the high 40s, are going to be like 35%. And I think the basic question, who's doing better job as president, Biden or Trump? Trump is winning that with 57%. I think you're seeing a retrospective assessment of Biden and the direction the Democratic Party was going. It really a lot more negative than it was on Election Day. And they're looking at the contrast on immigration, on economic policy, on some of the social policies. And boy, they're reevaluating. In the Democratic Party, I have never seen anything like this. This is a record low for the Democratic Party in terms of favorability. It has fallen really, really way down. And I don't think there's any leadership right now that's going to be able to bring that back.
Well, it's simple. The Democrat Party has sided with everything that is anti-American, everything that the American people love, everything that makes the United States of America, everything that the American people have always identified with their traditions, their values, everything that goes into making America what it is. Now, Americans are seeing just exactly what that looks like in real time. Just the past 4 years, Americans that may have been normie-minded, not politically interested, maybe even hated Trump and believed Democrats, got a huge dose of who these people really are. And it led to another Trump presidency. Why? Because President Trump represents making America great again, those American values. Democrats represent the opposite. My name is Drew Hernandez for the Gateway Pundit, and you have been on Watch with Drew Hernandez. I'll see you guys on the next one.